Hello and welcome. I'm the villager formerly known as Mallrat208, and you're watching SHADOWCRAFT, Episode 10. Last episode I was playing around with the Sigil of the Flatlands inside of Ars Magica 2. Let's go ahead and pull that up right here. This is really easy to make, and it just breaks blocks. Specifically, it'll break blocks up to 4 above the Sigil stand you put it in, with a radius out to about, I believe, 9, no, total diameter of 9, so 4 on each side. It's pretty nice. I used it to clear a good amount of land. I probably have more dirt than I'll need for quite a while right now. However, after playing with it, I decided to take a look at some of the other sigils that you can make. And they're pretty neat. I mean, like Nature's Bounty, it speeds up, makes things grow faster. The problem is I can't make an Nature Essence, so that's pretty much out the window. The Butchery and the Progeny are really nice for farms, but I have no animals in the immediate area, so I have no real desire to work on that. The Containment and Interdiction are interesting. They basically provide ways to make walls and stuff. One will keep mobs in, well, monsters in, or actually, is it monsters, or is it... Yeah, non-player entities can't leave. They can come in, but they can't go out. This would be an interesting way to actually make a trap, because they could just freely walk into the trap, but they couldn't walk back out. The interdiction should be, they can leave, but they can't come in. So if you wanted to spawn something and have them exit, they could do that, but then they can't get back in. Between the two of them, you get a barrier that they just can't cross. Alright. However, what I ended up playing with was the Sigil of the Packed Earth. And what the Sigil of the Packed Earth does, it's intended to put blocks in the world. It's like, say, fill in holes or whatever, if you wanted to automate something particular. As it turns out, this actually works with saplings. I was rather amused as to find this out. And with some clever, I hope it's clever, with some clever play of this Sigil of the Packed Earth and the Sigil of the Flatlands, I made a tree farm between last episode and this one. And what we're going to do today is show off said tree farm, and try to ignore the fact that the creators of Minecraft have forever scarred me to look like this villager. Well, at least until the second, which will probably be about the time you see this episode. Alright, so let's go ahead and head on over to the tree farm. There we go. And our farm's just over yonder. It's getting dark. We better make this quick. If you notice, there is one critical flaw in this tree farm. See those trees all the way up there? They're above the range that can be cut by the Sigil of the Flatlands. Alright, let's go ahead and see if I can... Oh. The Sigil's working against me. No, don't do that. Alright, so I got my dirt back. Tell you what, I might need to go ahead and clear this, and then we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. The little bit of canopy is gone there, and it's now bright and early in the day. It's actually not that early. I swear the days in this pack are like really, really short. Anyway, so this is the basic setup here. I have a little chest right here that this broom right here is set to interact with. He comes along, anything that drops within his range, he'll go ahead and pick up and put in this chest. And that includes whenever any of these trees are harvested, the blocks and stuff that drop, he'll pick up and he'll take care of for me. I've got to find out what those explosions are that drive me crazy. Okay, let's get the saplings back. As you can see, I've been running this a little bit already, and this is how much wood I've gotten so far with my first run of using oak wood. The oak wood has a pretty good return. The only problem with it is they make really big trees. And if you get some of the really big oaks, they can't be harvested with this, at least not properly. So this would be ideal for something like, say, the rubber saplings here, or say birchwood or something. Maybe even fir, but definitely not oak wood trees. If you get the small ones, they're fine. If you get the really big ones, you're in trouble. So just as an example of how this works, we're going to go ahead and put some of these saplings in here. Let's put all but one. Alright, so that almost immediately plants all the saplings. It's really, really nice. And what should start happening is once these things start growing, it's going to start producing more and more of the saplings than we started with. So I just put in a total of 31 saplings. Within a few minutes, I'm going to start getting some trees growing. I could probably even kickstart this with a little bit of bone meal just to show you what it does. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. First, what we're going to do, though, is break this. What I have here is a graded hopper. This is how I have the saplings going from the chest here back over to the chest over there. This is really easy to expand if I really wanted to. I would just have this set to extract the 2 types of saplings for the other field, and then I would pull them out from below to go whichever way they need to. Alright, that's right. That's right, and let's get that back, and let's get that back. Alright, so currently I have it set so that when this is powered, that means so is the hopper down here. No, I could have just clicked there, I didn't realize that. Anyway, so as long as this hopper is powered, it's not going to take any of the saplings that it gets into the chest. Let's go ahead and go steal some bone meal and just give you an example of what this thing does. Luckily, I still have... Oh, that's a infernal frickin' kobold. Anyway, I should still have some bone meal left over from that terrible, terrible nether journey. We'll take some of these. God, I'm hideous. Alright, let's go ahead and just go back to the farm. I really shouldn't be running like that. I'm currently eating apples because I'm too lazy to go over to the burger shack. Alright, so let's go ahead and give one of these guys a whack with some bone meal. So immediately it grows, since they still follow the old bone meal rules and like pretty much everything else. And it's starting to get harvested thanks to the sigil we have here in the center. Previously I'd been mucking around. I had the iron inlays. I went ahead and I scrounged up some of the desert novas and stuff, and I got enough to make some gold inlays. So this pretty much goes from the center here all the way over to the spot right over here, and it goes up a fairly good distance. It will pretty much always hit whatever I need to hit for these trees. Conversely, it hits like out here too, so I really can't put anything decorative because it's going to get broken. Alright, why is that not sucking? Oh yeah, I turned it off. So anyway, we grew one tree, we got 3 saplings. Let's go ahead and grow that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. The main thing that I do need to do, though, is I need to find a way, if I do want to use oak in the end, I need to get a better way to control how the stuff spawns, and I'm thinking probably either like carpets or string would probably be a good solution. Alright, so there it goes. We'll go ahead and let those grow up. See, they're growing, the broom's harvesting. Now this stuff here, it is sitting here, but as soon as that hits ground level, the broom is going to be able to go ahead, pick it up, and just dump it in the chest. This is probably the really first automation thing that I've done so far that I'm really happy with the way it turned out. There are some quirks, like I said, the really big oak trees, they're not so good for this. And this little guy here, the broom, he can take damage if a tree grows while he's standing on top of the sapling. If that happens, he'll slowly take damage until he dies. So I have found, though, there is a way to go ahead and heal him up. It usually involves having a Magitech staff. You can pick him up and put him back down, and whatever health he had, he'll be back at full. Actually feels kind of cheaty that way. I feel like they should remember the health they have, though. Like, this thing is really, really cheap to make, though, so it wouldn't be a terrible loss if he died. Alright, and here, like I said, here's right cut off where it's going to find stuff. However, these leaves will decay naturally, so it's not a problem. Why didn't this break? This thing should be well within range. It could just be taking a minute for it to parse back over here. Alright, so anyway, let's go ahead and check the chest. Oh. Poop. I just went ahead and I told it to suck down some saplings. Alright. Sacred rubber. You're kidding me. I think these are actually fake sacred rubber saplings. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Anyway, so far we have at least 14 rubber saplings, plus however many I accidentally sent back over there. We got 49 pieces of rubber wood and 49 raw rubber. So that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and just tell it to go ahead and dump the saplings. We should notice that these things should start getting planted as the saplings work over the way to the chest. There we go. Alright, excuse me. And it's pretty easy, it's pretty simple, and it's pretty much taken away any worry I had about having fuel. I'm definitely going to be burning a lot of charcoal, so I probably should make some coke ovens, though I'm not sure if I need the creosote. They would be extremely useful if I decided to get into some rail carts, which might not be such a bad idea. Let's see. And for this right here, it's just a really simple decoration using chisel stuff and just really cobblestone stairs. I'm not really fond of the way that these fences look. I had kind of hoped that it would be like a solid fence and that it wouldn't connect on the top or the bottom. So I'm thinking I might actually find something else to replace this, but for right now, this makes it look kind of open. And since I have these clear glass panes here from chisel, mobs can't actually see in and shoot in. You doing good there? Oh, and just as an example, since I had this running earlier with like oak saplings, I started with a grand total of about 14 oak saplings, right? This is how many I have now. So this is definitely, it's a good return. At a later point, I could probably use this stuff if I ever get to the point of using Mine Factory Reloaded stuff to create a biofuel, though I'm not sure how efficient it would be with just one sapling type. Alright, let's go ahead and get... Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of this apparent death trap. I wonder if I can hit him through the slat. Yes, I can. This is truly exciting YouTube videos. Go on. Go. Hey, get Dad. Dad. Get Dad. Okay, one more. Two more. There you go. Look, there it goes. Figures I get distracted and then it finally starts working. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and leave that doing its thing. I'm thinking what I really want to do now that I have this over here is I would like a bridge. I mean, I don't need a bridge. I could actually just like, fill this thing in right here. But I'm thinking I want to leave this, perhaps bring the water over and create like a little inlet right here. I'd have to clog that hole up, but I'm thinking a bridge would be nice. Just go ahead, have the bridge arcing over, coming this way, and then connecting over to my tree farm here, and then over to the spider farm. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get a ton of dirt and some basic building supplies. Luckily, I have a ready source of wood for making of said bridge, so we should be good for that. Let's go ahead and grab this up. Shouldn't need too much, actually. Anyway, I'll be right back when I'm ready to go to get this started. Alright, welcome back. So I have a nice little collection of stuff on me right now, mostly dirt, wood, cobblestone, and some walls and stuff. And I know I'm using a ton of that stuff right now, but I really don't have other materials from this point. There are definitely some blocks and stuff that do look better. Unfortunately, I just don't have them. Let's see, yeah, no, I don't. Let's see what's in the kill factor. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just put some of that cobblestone in there and we'll come back for it later. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build a bridge that's going to go right by the tree farm. Well, it's just going to be a small little bridge to go over this hole right here. The main thing that I need to take into account is that, like I said, I would like to go ahead and flood this at one point and just have it full of water. And if I do that, I need to make sure that whatever I do by the base is a solid block, because otherwise it's just going to look weird if it's not done that way. You'll see pockets of air either below water or it just won't jive right. So what I'm thinking, just go ahead and rough this in, is it is going to continue the basic 3-wide path thing I have going on here. It's going to be a 3-wide bridge, which means it's going to be 3 for the roads and then 1 on each side. So pretty much like right here is the ideal spot. Let's go ahead and just put some dirt in here. So like right here would be the bridge as it goes over. And it would just come on over, and then it would arc up right over the center here. It would probably, when I do this, I probably want to have it only raise up maybe about 2 or 3 blocks. Maybe 2. Because the side over here is lower. There we go, it's right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And while this is, I can probably just work this into like a little bridge or whatever to show the height difference. Well, a ramp rather, excuse me. Alright, actually, do I have any of the carpenter stuff left over here? Look at that thing go. No. No carpenter stuff, but I can make some carpenter stuff. Okay, good, it doesn't take the sacred ones. Alright. If you notice in the distance, I started to work on the tower again, but I used the wrong bricks, so I have to fix that at a later point. Alright, so let's go ahead and just make some carpenter blocks. I'm thinking for what I want to go ahead and use some slopes. It might look a little bit more natural. Which means I'm going to need a lot of sticks. Let's go ahead and just make that entire thing into sticks. Make all that into wood. And all around. Alright, and I need more sticks. So half of that, and then there we go. Oh, so freaking close. We'll go with the 48 though, that should be more than enough. So these things are pretty easy to break before you put anything in them. If you do add anything to them though, they take however long to break as the material you put on there. So if I put stone on here, I'd want to use a pick to break it, and if I put wood, I'd want to use an axe. It's really basic stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to immediately do a downslope like that. It would be too much of a change. So we're going to have that, and we're going to go over a run of maybe about... You know what? No, we're not. We're going to push this back. We'll have the downslope start immediately at the end here. There we go. Bam, bam, and bam. As I was doing this, it occurs to me that it would take far too long for it to slope down and still look relatively good by the time we got to the tree farm for it to be done that way. And then we'll slope down right here. And more booms. There we go. And then from here, it's just a matter of getting a relatively good path going. Come on, you can do it. Note to self, get a friggin' shovel. Alright, so we got that. What I'd like to do, it doesn't need to be exact, but I'd like to find roughly the middle point between these two sides. What we'll do is we'll declare that right here is going to be the wall. And we're going to show it's the wall by having it braced up by cobblestone. I know it's not terribly original. Oop, I didn't want to do that. we got that. We'll forget about that for right now. Yeah, let's forget about that. And then we're going to do the same over here, cobblestone. We are, however, going to get rid of this cobblestone. Cobblestone is not too terrible as a material to use for building, just as long as it's not overdone. And unfortunately, that's a little overdone. There we go. Alright, so we want the bridge to come out, and we have, between the two walls, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 spaces. That's perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go to the 7th spot. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so number 7 right here is going to be the midway point. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So this is the midway point. I plan to have this flooded with water, like I said, and the water level is at, say, feet position 62. Alright, which is right here. So this will be in water. Because of that, I can't really have any like micro blocks or carpenter blocks down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a nice, simple little base set up down here, and we are going to use wood for this, I believe. See what we have available under chisel for oak planks. Yeah, there's really nothing good for that, so we're just going to ignore that. How about stone? Any particular stones that would look good for that? No. Alright, so we'll stick with wood. Wood works. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to go ahead and take it out an additional space and out an additional space. There we go. Alright, so this is the centerpiece. Do one more. Alright. Oh. I think I might have a lot of items on the ground over there. Oh, broom, why are you failing me? Oh god, did it die? Hey. There we go. That should take care of itself in a sec. Ah, freaking nighttime. Alright, anyway, let's continue doing this until we absolutely have to stop. So we have this going up. Main reason I'm just using wood is because it's something I've actually, even though I have like the posts and stuff here, I've actually not used a lot of wood. Most of my stuff is stone based. Alright, so we got that going up. The road is still going to go up higher yet still. However, this is, probably going to be it for as high as this wood is going to go, because I need to start using some stuff that makes it look like it's supported. Alright, what we are going to do, though, in the meantime, is go ahead and sleep the night away. Tell you what, that probably should have been spaced a little bit further apart. Oop. I'm also apparently terrible at jumping on stuff. Alright, there we go. Oh, that looks better already. So by doing it this way, it gives a little space for like decorations in between the logs, so that it's not going to look like it's a really tight together. There we go. Alright, so the actual bridge itself is going to be on the interior part of this. To quote-unquote support the bridge, what we're going to have are these stone stairs. I'm going to have like so. And then the bridge is just going to run along top of that, and then we'll go ahead and find something to put like under the spine here for like a support strut or something. We might actually get to reuse these walls. That's not terrible, but it would be better if it connected. Let's go ahead and jump back up here. Really? Giant zombie? They weren't annoying enough. They need to come in giant. God, he is huge. Oh my god, he jumps. Magic resistance 1. Gold close helm of scary stuff. We'll take it. If those booms are what I think they are, I definitely want the helmet. Alright. So that's coming along, that's okay. Let's go ahead and bring this over. And I don't want to go ahead and back this straight up to the dirt. I want to have something else between it, so we'll just go ahead and we'll put this stuff on top like so. And I'm going to run into the same problem I had down here. I don't want to have that steep of an increase, because I could go ahead and just put the slope down here again. And that would work, but that's one heck of a jump in height fairly quickly. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push it back to be about right there. Yeah, that should be fine. Holy poo, I didn't know you could do that. So if you hold control, well, no, if you hold shift and you scroll through a carpenter's thing, it'll... Son of a... Okay, that's neat. Nope, I'm in. Okay, that's neat. Ah, I knew that was going to happen, and I still did it. Alright, let's go ahead and break that. This will be the end of the sport. Alright, so we got that. We're just going to go ahead and put down some more dirt and another slope. And dirt, dirt, dirt. Slope. Well, more dirt. There we go. So we're getting somewhere. We have a nice little road here so far. And I am starving. Let's go get some apples. Actually, I tell you what, let's go ahead and turn this off. I don't want this thing planting any more trees once its current batch is done. We'll take that back. This has definitely surpassed my needs for wood for a while, and I'm, like I said, I'm really happy about the way this has turned out. The main thing is this broom can be kind of wonky, but I have ideas on how to fix that. Well, oak trees. Alright, so let's get back over here. Now for the slope to this, I'd like to do it probably like right near the edge, like right here. Bam, bam, and bam. There we go. So this is, we got the basics of a bridge right here. Okay, it'll take us over. It looks like poo, but it'll take us over, so that's good. The next and final and most important trick is actually making it look like it's a bridge instead of whatever this is currently. If we put it like... Ooh. Okay. That's not terrible. And that way it'll also be supporting the wall when I put it up there, so that's good. And then up. Alright, so we can do that. I'm definitely going to have to use a different material for the walls, though, than either the cobblestone or the wood. Okay, there we go, that's fine. Let's go ahead and put down some quote-unquote support. And do we want to... No. See, if I were smart, what I would have done is I would have ensured that there was another block between the dirt and the floor covering thing. However, that takes up a lot of space, and this is still not that great of a big, not that big of a hole. What I can do, though, is I can make clever use of... Oh, get back. Okay, so it doesn't work for the carpenter's block, but it does work for the wedge. Okay. What I was thinking is, do I have any of the carpenter stairs left? I definitely should have carpenter stairs somewhere. Here we go. Oh, there were the slopes I couldn't find earlier. We can go and put those away for now. We don't need it anymore. Alright, so if I put that there, and then what I could do is actually use slabs. Oh, I like that. And we'll go ahead and break this, because this is not working out, and what we can do is we can put slabs under it. No, I like that, I really do. Alright, so do we want to go with the cobblestone over the... No, we'll get rid of this. It's freaking out a little bit since it's 2 carpenter blocks, but that should be fine. As long as I'm not looking at it from the bottom anyway. Okay, let's get up here. I mean, otherwise this looks okay. I mean, I still gotta get the walls. I think I want to go ahead and take the wood up a little higher. There we go. I'm not feeling that. Tell you what, let me go ahead and play with this, and then I'll be back after I come to a decision on how I want to do that. Alright, so before I go around the corner over here, I just want to go ahead and say this right now. I'm very sorry to put you through watching me build a bridge. I'm not terribly great at building stuff, as you can see by the stuff I have around here. I do enjoy it, but I'm not necessarily good at it. As this little aborted... Yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and see what we got over here. This is primarily made up out of carpenter blocks and, well, carpenter blocks, pretty much. We have... This is actually a carpenter block right here. And, yeah, it's a regular block that when hit with a hammer collapses down into a slab. I just went ahead and reused the cobblestone walls I had as a temporary divide so nobody falls off. Works fairly well. And then down here we have a carpenter's wedge just as something to make it look like a brace. I couldn't find anything that would kind of like meet the edge of the wedge. I'm not going to say that again. So this is pretty much the best I could do besides just putting a big freaking block right there, and I really don't want to do that. As it stands though, this is pretty much going to do for now. I could definitely see some things that could be improved upon it. I would like to... Ideally, I like to have it covered. However, this is too close to my house for that. I would end up having either like roofs touching, or it would just look odd. So what I do need to do though is I need to eventually get some lights put on here for the roads. And for now, I have connected my tree farm up to it. Let's see how this thing's going. Oh my god, that's so much wood. Alright. So this is going pretty good so far still, and it's out of saplings, so it'll be finishing up pretty soon for that run. I think in my future I need to make myself some coke ovens. There are easier ways to make charcoal, and I'm not entirely sure I need the creosote, like I said before. But it takes no additional power to actually create the charcoal if you use a coke oven. And that way you're not actually using fuel to make fuel. You're just purely putting in logs, getting out charcoal. Plus it will let me actually make coal coke if I need it. And to be honest, I don't think I do, but still, I'd like to have it. That is, however, going to have to wait till a later point. I actually took way too long doing this. So I want to go ahead and thank you for watching this episode of SHADOWCRAFT. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a message below. And as always, have a good day.